Jumbo Espresso Talk Today community. It's Alma Robin here. Aquaba to the show. That's how you say welcome in the Tree language of Ghana, and I really hope that I didn't mutilate that word. I'm so glad that you're joining us for another special show. We're continuing with our Black Excellence series. I have to confess, we did not intend for these shows to turn into a series, but I'm glad they did. Black excellence shows up in so many ways that these shows easily turned into a Black excellence series. I think that's pretty cool. I hope you do too. Black excellence show for this week is about Black actors who were also activists for social change. As we researched the Black actors for this show, we discovered that there were and there are so many actors who excelled, for one, as actors, and who also excelled and risked it all to use their voice for social change and progress. Just like the Black inventors that we discussed last week, many of the Black actors put everything on the line for what they believed in: racial equality, women's rights, criminal justice, Black power, and many other important issues. Many of these actors were denied work. I don't like to use the word blackballed, but they were denied work. They were threatened with violence. They were excluded from actors' unions. That's right, the unions didn't stick up for them. They were denied roles, and they generally faced strong efforts to, quote unquote, put them in their place. Just like the inventors last week and the Black sports activists that we discussed even earlier, they were told to, in quotes, just shut up and act. But these courageous activists would not be silenced. Black actors today still face many of the same problems. The shut up and act mentality persists, but it appears differently. Marlene is an actor, and she's going to discuss many of the pressures that she faced from people like producers, agents, colleagues, media, and others to just focus on her work rather than making social change. Well, this is just another word to say shut up and act. So Black actors continue to struggle in their on-screen workplace to get decent roles and get decent representations, and in their off-screen lives, working to add their voices to modern injustices against the Black community, against the LGBTQ community, against Native and Indigenous communities, and against intersectional communities. They're also working very hard to support climate change, voting rights, and economic justice. I mean, this is just amazing, the work that they're doing. And, there's so much to discuss. Let me just briefly mention one more thing. For next week, look for an all-new show that's right, an all-new show that is an element of Black excellence. We'll discuss the importance of historically Black colleges and universities, the HBCUs. The HBCUs are an excellent place for learning, for culture, and for community. And the HBCUs also produce and graduate Black excellence on a scale that just makes me want to stand up and cheer, honestly. I hope that you'll join us next week for that amazing show. I'm telling you about this now because I'm not coming back after the show. I'm going to stop here so we can get this party started. Asante Sana to Mel, Ben, and Marlene for joining me on today's show about Black actor activists. Asante Sana to you for coming through again today. I really appreciate you, Espresso Talk Today community. To you now, Hans.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Espresso Talk today. My name is Hans, and thank you for joining us. Today's show discusses the role of Black actors in working for social change. We are joined today by Robin, Mel, Ben, and Marlene. This will definitely be an interesting conversation. So, grab an espresso and get comfortable for this uncommon episode. Let's listen in.
Hey Marlene, how's it going?
Hey Ben, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, it's good to hear. I mean, I'm doing all right. Like a bit of a chill out day on my day off. I was looking through some movies.
Oh, nice
Like
movies.
yeah, like Black
Any?
Panther came up in particular, and I don't know. I saw Chadwick Boseman on it, and that just got me thinking. He passed away, and he had a really big impact, like culturally, artistically, and I think just the other work he's done for these cancer organizations too. Um, but black actors, they really do have an important role in this artistic realm, as I'm sure you know, as an actor as well.
Mhm.
Are there any people on your mind about that topic?
Yeah, there are a couple people I think really represent the model that I look for in a Black actor activist, because I mean that's a huge platform, and if you're not going to respect it, respect the people that you're serving, and respect the people who are watching your entertainment and getting you to the place, then what are you doing? What are you doing? But the first one that comes to mind for me is Jesse Williams. He's drop dead gorgeous, first of all, but he's also a very, very active member of the quote revolutionary community. He acted on Grey's Anatomy, Power, Law and Order. He gave a speech at the BET Awards in 2016, which was him accepting the humanitarian award. It was very, very great speech. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you watch it. It's up on YouTube. But
Yeah,
yeah, he fights. His fight is centered around equality for everyone, civil rights, and just really trying to level the playing field for humanity in general. And I can really respect that.
that's really cool. And you mentioned briefly the revolutionary, the community. I think was that like a specific group, or was that like
No,
wordplay?
I'm just using those words because I didn't have anything to better describe it. But just the people who are willing to put their neck out there for the betterment and the advancement of our community, the Black community, and other minority communities.
Cool. But like you mentioned the role, like so, was there any specific character he played that kind of made an impact to you personally, or that you could see as having that social impact?
I honestly, like, to be honest, I haven't really seen him act in much besides Grey's Anatomy, and that's a very procedural show. So
I get it.
I haven't really had a chance to observe him like actually, take on a character other than something that his type already is. So that's not really what draws me to him. It really is his outspokenness and his ability to reach a community and actually make waves in that community with, his work behind the scenes. And his face is pretty nice too. So
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like what really drew me to him was like the looks, but
was look, it was coming. It was coming. Yep. Yep. Do you
but
have any?
yeah, I mean, I have Chadwick Boseman, who I'm sure all of you know from Black Panther, and if you don't, like, crawl out of your rock, right? But yeah, he's actually a really interesting person, as I'm sure many of you know. He also died recently of cancer, but posthumously, he received two NAACP Image Awards. One was for the D5 block, I believe, and the other was for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And I
Mm,
mean, like to get that recognition from the NAACP just says something in and of itself. But he is also the type of person to not to speak up about things that he feels is wrong. And I think as people, working people in general should do that, but especially minorities in the artistic community who don't necessarily want to be categorized as stereotype. So he told this story about one of the first gigs he had, like being on TV, and these people wanted to place him in a role where the father was absent, like quote, and the producer said the father was absent, of course, the mother was on heroin, of course, things of that nature. And Chadwick was saying, look, is there some gift we can give this kid? Because like I'm not going to play a victim here. And they looked through his CV and everything. They saw, oh, you went to Howard. We'll keep an eye on you. And the next day they fired him. So he began thinking like, okay, look, I don't need that job, I don't need them, but I mean, it pays the bills. Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna balance that?
Um, that, that's a really hard intersection to be positioned in, because it's like, as an actor, you're looking for your next gig in order to pay, hopefully the next year of your rent or the next 6 months of your rent. Just trying to move from gig to gig, and a lot of times you're battling. I am I going to be play this trope? Am I going to play the stereotype and get my rent and my groceries paid for, or I'm going to be extremely poor for the next couple months looking for my next one? It's a very, very it's a struggle that every actor has to come to grips with, unless you're born into money and you can act on the side. So
Yeah, that's true. But I think, but he was also very active in general. Like, he really supported when Howard students did a protest to their school administration. I forgot what the exact topic was, but I mean, like, you get the idea. And the last tweet he did was actually about voting, trying to get people to vote and
wow.
challenge this narrative, which was saying that, look, you young people are the future. But he kind of recognized and said that, look, you're actually the present. Like, you can make change now. Like, you can do things now. Like, you have abilities. There's social media. You can actually send messages to your representatives.
Mhm.
Like, I don't see many actors doing that kind of thing. Like, Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo, I don't know, the guy who plays the Hulk.
Yeah, of course. I'm actually in love with Mark Ruffalo. I have been for years, since 13 going on 30. It's cool.
Bam. Okay. All right. So you know about this thing, because he's really active in that realm. But
Mhm.
aside from him, I don't know. I haven't seen much.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, because my question to that is, I'm thinking about Chadwick Boseman's career in all the movies and things that he's done, and a lot of them have been centered on the like Black revolutionary type of trope, and they all fit in the same category. And part of me is like, if he didn't have those roles, if he didn't have that career, would he still be as adamant of a supporter? Because then I look at other Black actors. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, because I haven't really done my research on him, but for example, Morris Chestnut, I haven't heard him, going into, places and starting a riot in the name of equality, and he plays all these roles that are, the dad, the man next door, the love interest, and things like that. And I don't know if that's had an influence on how comfortable he feels speaking out.
Yeah. Like, who is that actor?
Morris
What?
Chestnut.
Yeah.
He was in a lot. He's in a lot of black films. About black family films, or uh,
Okay.
put together black man in a suit. Really
All right.
charming, handsome, gets the girl, gets the job. Might have an emotional part in the middle, but not really anything of substance.
All right. I get it. I get the vibe. But I
Mhm.
think, yeah, about Boseman, I think he landed those roles, like, specifically he landed them for a reason. Like, people who were on set with him said that when he was playing Jackie Robinson, he
Mhm.
just fit the role really well. Like, the way he carried himself, everything. Like, a part of him was, he chose that for a reason, and they chose him for that too. So I think, and also in his younger days, he was doing protests and things of that nature too. So
That's good to hear.
they converged. But
Yeah.
was there someone else you had?
Um, I really like the actress Gabrielle Union.
Mm.
She's doing a lot of work behind the scenes to advocate for sexual assault survivors, and she's making waves in representation when it comes to job equality. So not necessarily Black centered uh, activists or activism, but definitely people centered, definitely face forward, and definitely progressive. So I really respect her for that. I love her acting. I will watch her in anything. I will watch her climb a mountain if she filmed it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. she's also married to Dwayne Wade, right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's what I know. Yeah.
Yeah, she's married to Dwayne Wade. She was in Being Mary Jane, Bring It On, Almost Christmas, and Birth of a Nation as well.
Mm,
She had a small role in that. So yeah, she's a pretty diverse actress, I'd say.
cool.
Yeah, I see you guys talking. What are you
Hi,
talking
Matt.
about?
I have a mama.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good to,
How are you?
good to see you, Marlene and Ben. I saw you guys in the corner here talking, and I'm not really sure. Are you talking about actors and Black activism?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're just brainstorming or talking about black actors and what role they play in activism, and do they even have a right to be playing these things, or do they have a right to not.
That's a very, very good point. And there are so many that we could name, but I tell you, the ones I really like, Ruby D and Ossie Davis. I know you guys probably don't even know who they are.
No, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Ruby, Ruby D and Ossie Davis are amazing. It's a husband and wife team. Ruby Dee played in Raisin in the Sun. And she played the mother to Sidney Poitier, who was the son in the play and also in the movie. And that was about a family. The father had died, left some life insurance, and so the family was trying to better themselves to get a home. But the home was going to be in a segregated neighborhood. Actually, I think in Illinois. So it's about that dynamic and how they handle that. So Ruby Dee was really, really good in that. And Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee were both in this a movie called Do the Right Thing. I don't know if you've heard about that. That's kind of an older movie, but it's really interesting. It was about growing tensions in a black neighborhood that led to the shooting and killing of a black man. Now I know that sounds really kind of far-fetched, but this is what's happening
No,
today. This
not that
this
far.
film this film was done in 1989. Can you
I
believe it?
I thought you were reading a headline or something. I
1989. They were really, as a couple, they were really activists. They were instrumental in organizing and were the MCs actually at the March on Washington. Do you remember that? The March on Washington with Martin Luther King, the
Oh,
Freedom
they were
March
the
on, yeah,
MCs.
on Washington. They did that. Um, they were for a while didn't get some work because they were contributing money to people whose uh, uh, families were lynched, in the South. So they were put on a list, so they didn't get any work there. And Ossie Davis, the husband, was also a producer, an actor, a writer, and he wrote this play called Pearly Victorious. And he and Ruby Dee starred in it. And it was about Southerners who were confronting racial issues. So Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee they were a couple and they were involved in activism in so many ways and in so many places. They were called the first couple of the civil rights movement. So the two of you have not heard of them or?
No, I
I,
haven't.
I I know who they are because I've done the play and I've watched the recording. But I didn't know their names actually.
Yeah, Davis said that he got his I guess his marching orders from his parents, who actually were trying to get him to understand what it meant to be Black. And he read a lot of W.B. Du Bois. I'm sure that you've read that too.
Mm,
And that also, helped him to understand his, I guess, political role. And he's an actor, so he put that into the activism as an actor. They belong to many organizations, NAACP. They got lots of awards from the NAACP and other groups. They belong to CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, SNCC, the non violent coordinating committee. They were just everywhere. And anytime there was anything going on, Selma, you remember Selma and John Lewis, that situation, they were there. So they were always involved in the civil rights movement, but they took roles that demonstrated the how Black people are and Black people as human beings, as opposed to roles that portrayed Black people as cartoon characters.
so I Oh, so yeah, I have to say that is so important to break free of the caricature and to actually contribute something there, to add humanity to the role. That's such a great thing that they did, because I don't know, like making a movie or a TV show, there are a lot of people involved, and sometimes the writers may take full control, sometimes the director or even the actors, but to actually embed a real character and a real person there does make actual change, because that's really how a lot of people are going to perceive Black people. Like if they don't actually get to meet them in person, and the only interactions, or not even interactions, perceptions that you're having are through TV or other forms of media, then that can make a big impact.
And that's really, really important. It's very, very important that they took only the roles that showed Black people as real human beings and with respect and character. And they did this together. Both of them now have passed away. He passed away in 2005. She passed away in 2014. But they did write a book in 2000 called In This Life Together. So they were really a committed couple. Very, very important, I think, in the acting activism. There's
Mhm.
another one I'd like to talk about too. I know you've heard of her, Cicely Tyson.
Yeah,
Have you heard of Cicely Tyson?
yeah.
Yeah, she passed away just recently, actually in January of this year. And she was most famous for the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman and Sounder. As a matter of fact, her first real part was in Sounder, and she was 48 years old at the time. She'd been trying to break into acting, had some small roles here and there, but Sounder was her breakthrough. And
She
Sounder,
was 48 in Sounder.
yeah, she
She
was 40.
looks she looks like she's 17.
She looks amazing. She did at
Wow.
96 when she passed away.
Right.
She looked amazing. She always dressed impeccably. She carried herself, with a strut. I mean, she was really something. But she was 48, and that was her first breakthrough. And Sounder, I don't know if you know much about the film, but it was about, um, and she played the wife. It was her husband who was jailed for stealing a ham to feed his family.
Hmm.
And so his son, David, went on a trek to find his father. And so that's what Sounder's about. Miss Jane Pittman, which is a role she played, and she aged in that role. She started as a young woman, and she was over 100 by the time the movie was ending. And it was about a struggle for African Americans to achieve economic and political self-determination. And she played that so well. I mean, you could see her walking toward the water fountain, like, I'm going to drink out of this water fountain. I don't care if it does say it's a white water fountain. It was just an amazing thing. It just made you feel like, yeah, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do something. I'm going to help. I'll be a part of this. So, one of the things, she had a criteria for deciding on which role she would take. First of all, it had to be a woman. Well, that's natural, of course. Secondly, it had to be a Black woman. And thirdly, it had to be a strong Black woman. So she didn't take all the roles she was offered. She took those roles that showed, just like Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee, showed Black people as real human beings and showed the beauty of the Black woman. So she's a very, very important, person, I think, in the history of Black actors activism.
On the theme though of actors being able to choose their roles and curate what their catalog looks like, do you think that's a good or a bad thing that these actors, who you know aren't being questioned in their personal life are being the faces of these, these social movements?
Well, I think so. I think so. How do you feel about it?
I have met people on both sides of the spectrum. I have met genuine Black actors who I feel are doing great work for the community and who are honest in their work. But I have also met Black actors who are simply using their picket signs to fit
Hmm.
in and to soothe certain communities and get themselves in the door, in order to act, in order to get those roles or to be in those certain communities, but not necessarily that these are the type of people that I personally would like to be led by, or I think should be leading, because at the end of the day, it's about a check, you know. And if my producer calls me and says, you know, you can't tweet anymore about the Black Lives Matter movement, you have to stop tweeting, and I have to stop tweeting, or else I lose my check. You know, I lose my job, I lose everything. And I think that there are way too many Black actors who will not lose their check, who will prioritize the check, do whatever the label needs them to do, and they get lost in there. And they're, you know, even if there is some, you know, positive force behind what they're doing, it gets lost because at the end of the day, it's up to the producers and the production companies and the executives what image they need to have out. And most of those people are not people of color.
I think that's true. And that's why I'm talking about Cicely Tyson and Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee, because they
Mhm.
stood their ground. They
Mhm.
lost work because they would not give in to those types of attitudes, would not give in just for a check. They wanted Black people to be portrayed in a certain way, and they stood their ground. And I admire them for it. And I think that you know, their art shows, you know, their dedication, not only their art, but while they were alive, you know, they actually went out, you know, like to Selma and to different places, and they were seen. So they were not in the background just sending a check in to help some cause. They were actually out there doing things, and that I admire.
All right, but like I do have to say, like, it is, the check is actually an important part of it. Like, I don't think it's, we should necessarily denigrate people or, you know, ridicule them for for example, not tweeting a certain thing in order to get their job. I mean, because realistically, if you're just starting out, also, like, sure, if
Mhm.
you're just starting out and you, there's a role you don't like, you of course have the right not to do it. But then I
Yes.
think you can also do it and then further your career and then do things differently as well.
But with that, where's the line, Ben? Like where's the line, you know? You get in that, you get in five you know, intersecting contracts, and then you can't even say hello, you can't even say happy Mother's Day to your mother, you know?
Well, I'm talking more about like the external perspective of how we're judging actors rather than the actors themselves. Like, of course, that's going to be like a personal decision, and it is easy to get lost in it. And I mean, people will kind of characterize you as a sellout. But what I'm saying is that maybe to claim sellout, which I'm not saying any of us are doing right now, isn't necessarily a fair judgment every time.
Well, beyond that, do you think what Black actor activists, like, how is it effective to you?
What do you mean?
How, like, what is it effective? Are these Black actor activists, you know, I know we kind of just touched on this, but
Oh, okay, I get it. I get it. Uh, Honestly, I don't think it may be very effective for a career, but not that effective. So it could be very effective for having the career. It could be very effective for telling a certain story, but it
Mhm.
might not be that effective if actors are going to be involved in spreading social awareness about, or spreading awareness about certain issues, or making their voices heard. As
Mhm.
long as they, like, it could be that the more quote unquote successful they become, or the more well known they become, the more censored they also become
Mhm.
in what they can say. And I think, as for the actor, that must be a very hard thing to experience. But for an audience member, I couldn't know what they would be thinking then. And to be honest, I'm kind of okay with that to a certain extent.
Mhm.
Well, I think that, you know, the you have to look at various types of things. First of all, the roles that they take. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's really important. The roles that they take, because the roles that they take are, you know, when a person goes to a movie, they may not know any Black people, and this is all they know of Black people, drug dealers and that type of thing. So, you know, they have to really be concerned about that. And I think these people we're talking about felt more of a mission to take certain roles than just to take the check. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't earn money and all the roles are going to be perfect, but there's some roles I think that if they're going to be in the public eye, they have to realize, you know, have a broader effect than just them getting, a check for what they do. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I think like underlying that, or your point to that question, is whether or not the opinions of actors really influence us, whether their positions on political or social or other economic issues influence us. Would you say that that's right?
Well, I think that's true. You have to decide whether or not they influence us. But the point is, does the movie and the part that they play
Mm.
influence other people,
Oh yeah.
portray Black people in a way, of people who don't know Black people or who are not involved with Black people in any way, um, portray Black people in a way that makes them that makes Black people seem like undesirables. I think that's the key.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that should be done. I don't agree with that, of course. But um, well, yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, so those are the roles. They have to select the roles. At least, that's what Ruby Dee and Cicely Tyson did, select the roles
Well, I think
that.
But
the
I
role.
have I also have to say it's like defining undesirables, because is the story that black people are undesirables, or is it that there are undesirable characters and they happen to be black? Like I'm not, I know I'm kind of towing the line here and all that, but I think that's an important distinction to make, because there are black drug dealers. There are people like that. Like not all black people are desirable people. Like that's the truth, because we're just normal. We're people. We're ordinary people, and no one's perfect. But I think the problem comes when they start making caricatures, or when there starts to be some form of tokenism. That's when something should change. But
Well, I think that's true. Realistically, Black people are like other, people. We have, Black people who are uh, drug dealers, like you said, or other undesirables. But every time you see this Black, person, or as you see Black people, they're always drug dealers.
mm,
They're always undesirables. They're
yeah,
always criminals. They're always in jail. That's when it becomes something that more than just acting. That's when it becomes, this is what they are.
okay, I see that pattern. But I think that pattern, yes, the actors are also responsible for that, but that's like a big thing with directors and cultural narratives too, which the actors can't necessarily control, but they could change. Of course, they may be able to change through different. I don't know how they could, but I imagine they could. Um, but yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
that
well,
is good.
I think nowadays we're having more and more conversations in the rehearsal room, and opening rehearsal periods with conversations about how we're going to be an open and inclusive space. We're going to be a collaborative space. If you have any opinions on XYZ, don't be afraid to voice them. That doesn't mean they're going to get heard, but people definitely setting the tone for these rooms and these rehearsals being a collaborative effort. And nobody, I don't think, in the effort or in the effort in the industry wants to be labeled as somebody who continually continually promotes tropes, continually
Yeah.
disrespects certain groups of people. And especially not now today, people are making sure, doubling back and making sure that they are not that person.
Yeah.
And I think that scares a lot of the people in power, because it's never been like this before. So I think it's moving in a positive way.
But I just want to ask you a question then. So
Mm-hmm.
how does it feel having that? Does it feel like an actual real conversation, or just kind of like, okay, look, guys, we're just going to go through the motions?
Sometimes it feels like the motions, and sometimes it feels like a checklist, definitely. But it all just depends for me on what the art looks like on the back end.
Yeah.
If you say all these things and then you produce something that is very far from your message, I have to think your message was not real in the first place, and it was just to get Black actors on the stage so you could use them however you want. But if the production comes out as something that is not revolutionary, yes, but also something that fights those tropes or the ways that the model of operation that we've been moving in, then I definitely am on board and would love to work with those people again. But like I said, nobody wants that label right now. It's a really, really big thing to not be a racist right now. And I think a lot of white people are overcompensating for, and so that they will not be recognized as one of those people who just, say the things and then don't actually do the things, which I think is great because, nothing was done for a long time. So overcompensation, I'll take it. I'll take it. But yeah,
But we should discuss, the role of Black actors, since they're visible, in the movement itself, like in the civil rights movement. That I mean, do you think they have a responsibility since they are visible and people might listen to them because they are on television more, or they have an audience more about things like racism and civil rights?
Okay, I actually don't think they do have that responsibility. I think they have a responsibility to do so if they are informed. I think they should know their position, and I think they should understand that their words actually will have meaning. Like, let's say there's a certain, um, I don't know, like Israel and Palestine, for example, that was really big on social media recently.
Mhm.
That's a really, really complicated issue. And I think to just post a random thing or to say for an actor or any public figure to take an uninformed position and say, I support this or that side, merely because they supposedly have the responsibility to take a position in public, I think that's actually very intellectually irresponsible for them to do. Um, like I think to some issues, like with George Floyd, like you can kind of like that's pretty clear, like why would you not take a,
Mhm.
take a position on that? But I think it's
Well,
changed based on the issue.
how do we compare the black actor activists to people like Colin Kaepernick, or
Mm.
other athletes who have taken a stand politically in activism? Where do they fall? Because if it's not, I mean, do football players have the same responsibility?
I mean,
They're visible. They're out there.
yeah, I think that's still.
Influencing people.
I think like that the first position I made still applies to them too. It's like they should be like say what you're free to do these things, but you also if you have this many people, like if you have I don't know a million people following you, you better be informed about what you're going to be talking about or what you're saying.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
Yeah. And each to his own. If I feel the same way you feel, I feel that even if I am an actor, even if I am in the public eye, I should not be forced to become a voice for the entire a community. But also it's just like I also don't want Bimbo and his actor
Yeah.
friends telling the younger generation that let's shoot first. Like it's not. I really agree. Yeah, let's we have to vet these people.
Yeah.
Right. I think we have to, the actors and actresses themselves have to be responsible. I agree with you there, Ben, about taking positions on this and that. But since they are visible, that means they do have, I think, a responsibility to become informed about some of these issues, particularly if they're going to go on the media and talk about it.
And talk about it. Yeah, but then
Right.
that comes with so many challenges,
Yeah.
because as an actor myself, I don't want to, and as I know this sounds, it sounds how
Mhm.
it sounds. I'm going to say it, but it sounds how it sounds. I don't want to take all those roles where, you're the revolutionary or, fighting for the cause and change, because you will get pigeonholed almost immediately, especially if you don't have a career behind you, into being, that's that actor, who always brings trouble, or always is stirring the pot, always having those conversations, and you lose money. You lose money, you lose credibility. You know, as bad as that sounds, it is a numbers game, or not a numbers game, but just a game of weighing out your options. You know, do I take this? Do I fight for my people? Do I, maybe possibly lose everything I've worked for and not be able to work or have people see my name and immediately associate it with, with revolution? And it's like some people are willing to take that risk, and some people just have other priorities. And I think all of them are valid.
No, I agree with you. So, but what I said was that, you are visible. So if you're going to take a position, be responsible about it. You don't have to take a position. You don't even have to be active. But if you are going to do that, you have to be informed and be responsible about it.
Yeah.
That was my point. Just be informed.
I agree.
Yeah.
So what ways can we support these activists? Besides watching their movie.
You mean as members of the public? What ways can we?
Yeah, what ways can we support them, or how can we band together and settle that we're going to support these people?
Yeah,
that's a very good question, and I think one way we support them is to request and require them to be in some of the media kinds of things that happen, movies or talks on television, things like that. That we use their names.
but I know, like, what do you mean by that, though?
Well, I mean, as it's just how you get popularity. That you request people to be involved in different things, in certain ways.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, because so just to make sure I understand, is it kind of like people should suggest certain actors to play certain roles?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Public.
Yeah, I'm not thinking. I'm not thinking that. But what I'm saying is, we should just support them in whatever ways we can. Yeah, I don't know all those ways, but go to their movies. Attend their talks. Bring their names up for positions when we have that opportunity. Things like that.
Yeah, I think one way you could actually indirectly support them, like for Chadwick Boseman, by the way, is he supported like the when we all vote thing with Michelle Obama.
Mhm.
So vote, do things like that. I mean, support the things that you're like. This sounds really cringy to say, but that your influencer also supports. Like, I mean, well, not to, actually, you should think for yourself and don't do that. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I was trying to say. Support those things that they support. Yeah.
Another way, though, honestly, is to give them room to not be those people, sometimes. And because I can't even imagine, committing to a social movement, and every single day walking outside my house and having people want me to give speeches about these things. I'm not the same person every day. I let's not expect them to be full-on activists for us every single moment, every day, because it's not their responsibility. They were following their passion and they ended up here.
I agree. They are just people, and I mean, there's so many different things going on, and there's so many things people will bring up, especially nowadays. Like, I think you do kind of need to also be realistic about it. Like, how would you like it if someone was doing that to you? Like, I guess in this position of, like, I don't know, of success, but that doesn't mean like they should be necessarily bombarded with all these different things they have to argue about.
Yeah, keep up with.
Hey, wow. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Robin.
Hey.
Well, I've been listening to this conversation. How interesting. Yeah, so supporting, Black activists, and wow, the different roles. And I was thinking, of course, when I think of actors, I'm thinking Idris Elba as James Bond. We should have a petition out for that, okay?
Didn't the James Bond thing, didn't that end?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wait,
Well,
Pretty sure.
I think they closed. They stopped production on the project because I think COVID hit, and I don't know if they picked it up
COVID. Yeah,
back up.
it was COVID. Mhm.
oh yeah, but then Daniel Craig. I mean, really, he was all right, but I mean, he is no Idris Elba, really.
No, I haven't met anybody who's another Idris Elba. Okay.
Me neither.
Real life.
They're just
All right, come on, Elton.
okay. Well, sorry, but I talked to Ben earlier, and he was mentioning movies, and he's mentioning actors and activists and all that. And so I started doing a little research, and I, found quite a bit of information. And I thought I would ask him some of these questions. But since you're all here, maybe I can ask you guys some questions about, actor activists. And we have a few minutes. I just started my espresso, so if you guys
Okay.
are,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's do it.
Sounds good.
Okay, and you know how I love quizzes and all of that. Everybody knows that.
Okay.
Okay, who's first? Okay, we'll start with Mel.
I'll go first.
Okay, we'll start with
Okay.
since you're enthusiastic about it, then then Marlene, we'll begin with you. All right, which actor activist is quoted as saying, the part of me that responds to causes or injustices or issues fighting statements on all kinds of issues, that part of me is the creation of my proud activist grandmother who never seemed to be afraid of anything. Okay. Who could this be?
Can I get a hint?
Actually have three.
Oh.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's multiple choice. Oprah Winfrey,
Mhm.
Lena Horne, or Whoopi Goldberg.
I'm gonna say Lena Horne.
All right. Yay. One for Marlene. Okay, I saw everybody's face. It's like, yeah, good job, Marlene. Okay, you got it.
Yes, no one was.
Well, I'm impressed that Marlene knows Lena Horne.
I know Lena.
Everybody,
I
horn.
Actually, we met her in person, Robin and I.
Everybody loves the horn.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, who's next? Ben, we'll go with you. Okay. At the March on Washington, what famous entertainer gave a speech about the link between racism and voter suppression? A. Harry Belafonte, B. Sidney Poitier, or C. Marlon Brando?
Sidney Poitier.
Oh, sorry. Another guess?
I get two. All right.
Yeah.
Then, sorry. Could you name these?
Is Harry Belafonte or Marlon Brando?
Brando.
Okay, sorry. Okay, it was Harry Belafonte.
Those were both just straight guesses. I didn't know.
Marlon Brando at the walk on
Yeah,
Washington. Washington.
He was there. Okay.
Oh, was
All right. Yeah, he was. Yeah. And
Oh.
he may not look black, but I really think he was. Okay. Let's see. Mel, you. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Which actress from The Help said, "I feel like my entire life has been a protest. My production company is a protest. Me not wearing a wig to the Oscars was my protest." Okay, we have Octavia Spencer, Cicely Tyson, or Viola Davis.
I think Viola Davis was in there, was she? I'll go with Cicely Tyson.
Okay, you want to try one more? Octavia Spencer or Viola Davis?
I don't know well, Octavia Spencer, but anyway, so I'll go with Viola Davis. Octavia Spencer. What?
Indeed, it was Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, she's back. Okay. All right. Just in time, Marlene. All right, here we go. Next one. Okay, just one more question for each of you. And then I have a bonus round. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, Marlene is leading so far here.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, what bold action does Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther Fruitvale Station require for all of his projects? A diversity clause, B, an environmental protection clause, or C, an equal payment clause?
I'm gonna go with equal payment clause.
Okay, do you want to try one more?
Okay, it's the diversity clause.
That's right, it is. It sure is. Okay. All right. Ben, we'll get to you quickly then too. Okay. Which actor currently serves as UNICEF ambassador? Is it Danny Glover, Denzel Washington, or Tyler Perry?
Denzel Washington.
Okay, you want to try one more?
No way. Is it? It can't be Tyler Perry.
Absolutely not.
But none of these made sense to me. Okay.
Danny Glover. It's Danny Glover.
Yeah, but that's like okay.
I mean, he's a real big social activist.
That's Danny Glover.
Okay, Danny Glover. Okay. All right. Last one then. Okay. Okay, Mel.
I've got to get this right.
Which actor activist was investigated by the CIA after saying to Lady Bird Johnson, "You send the best of this country off to be shot and maimed. They rebel on the street. They will take pot and they'll get high. They don't want to go to school because they're going to be snatched off the street to be shot in Vietnam."
Eartha Kitt.
Absolutely. Eartha Kitt. Was the Kitt.
The Kitt.
That's right. Okay. And I have one quick one here. I'm going to try to see if I can do this. Okay. I think I probably got it. Okay, let's see. Who's this then? Okay, sound, share. And here we go. Can you see the screen?
Changing
Yeah.
my life.
Yes.
Now, this award, this is not for me. This is for the real organizers all over the country, the activists, the civil rights attorneys, the struggling parents, the families, the teachers, the students that are realizing that a system built to divide and impoverish and destroy us cannot stand if we do. All right? It's kind of basic mathematics. The more we learn about who we are and how we got here, the more we will mobilize. Now, this is also in particular for the black women, in particular, who have spent their lifetimes dedicated to nurturing everyone before themselves. We can and will do better for you. Now, what we've been doing is looking at the data, and we know that police somehow manage to de-escalate, disarm, and not kill white people every day. So what's going to happen is we are going to have equal rights and justice in our own country, or we will restructure their function and ours.
Okay.
Now,
So we'll stop there.
That's my man right there.
All right. I got this.
First of all, he's hot. Okay.
Okay. All right, but I got to say about the award. I don't know what the award is. The BET Awards.
The BET Humanitarian Award.
Man, I sounded really old when I said the BET Award. but I have to, like, the award was for him, fundamentally. Like, so.
Yeah, it was for him. I mean, I think he's obviously, as Emily was saying earlier, that I overheard, that he does a lot of activist work, and I mean he's bringing up some really important issues, and I mean the speech went on a lot longer about a lot of other things. I mean he's bringing up about these police shootings and everything, and it was very powerful. Do you think that's the place that's his place, or is he?
Well, I think it's his place completely, and I think I'm gonna speak on this. I mean, I am a light-skinned person also, and there so I understand the benefits that it can have in society. But I don't know if he would be in the position that he is if he didn't look like he was. So I'm very proud that he took his position and gave the people truth.
Good point.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, but you're saying he had some privilege, some light skin privilege.
Light skin privilege, like eye privilege, soft hair privilege, all in there.
And just being hot privilege. Okay.
What he used, what he had as a forum, and that's really important.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I think it was good he said that. Like, why not say that? I don't see any.
Why not?
Like, it seemed like it was coming from a genuine place too. Like, if he was saying it just to say it, he'd be like, "Come on, man!" But I think he genuinely meant what he was saying. So.
Agreed.
But was he also preaching to the choir? I mean, would he have said this at the Oscars or the Emmys?
I think he may have.
He may have changed his audience because maybe he might have talked more directly to a white community than I feel like in this one he was talking directly to the Black Entertainment Network. So maybe a different style, but I feel he would say what he needs to say when he needs to say it.
Yeah, I think he has that. He does seem pretty courageous, and yeah, that he's gonna say it. So I mean, Grey's Anatomy, that was not one of my favorite, TV shows, but it's good that he's still out there. Yeah, but anyway, wow, I have now finished my espresso, and I don't know, I know I'm the latecomer here. Have you guys finished, or are you on to something else now?
I am done.
My pot of tea is empty.
I am finished.
So no one wants an Irish coffee now, huh?
No.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get out of here then, and very interesting discussion.
We'll see y'all later.
Okay, take care, y'all. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for putting up with my quizzes.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Espresso Talk today. We hope that you enjoyed today's uncommon conversation about Black actors fighting for social change. So, let's have an after coffee summary. Black actors have been using their influence, exposure, and their money to work for social change for a very long time. An issue that arises often in our society is the debate on whether actors should have any influence or power in promoting social change. While many people feel that actors and athletes should avoid this kind of controversy, the Espresso Talk Today team felt that the activism of Black actors and athletes is helpful and makes a difference. The Espresso Talk Today team agrees that more should be done to support these acts of activism. Now, we always want to hear what you think. So, share your thoughts and questions with us by emailing us at team@expressotalktoday.com. You can also visit our website, expressotalktoday.com, for more information about our show and episodes. Join us on Facebook at the Espresso Talk Today Forum or on Twitter at Espresso Talk Today. We also have an Espresso Talk Today YouTube channel to watch short educational videos. You can listen to our episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Next week, we will definitely have another interesting talk. So, be sure to bring your espresso. You might even want a double. See you next time. Ciao.